Bam, we're live. Good morning. Greg Glassman coming on the show today. Federal judge ruled that fluoridation. After a federal judge ruled that fluoridation poses an unreasonable risk to children's intelligence, more U.S. cities are stopping their water fluoridation program. It's crazy. A year ago, on Instagram, if you would have put down, if you would have mentioned that fluoride's bad for kids, you would have got a misinformation tag from Instagram. Wild, right? That's the problem. That's the problem with someone choosing what's misinformation or disinformation, or that's the problem with the fact checkers. That it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's like that girl who took the MMR vaccine in Southern California, who started just dying right before our eyes within 3 hours. I guess they kicked her off of TikTok because they're saying it's misinformation. And because I guess it doesn't say the whole story everywhere, because obviously she's having a reaction with it, right? People are saying she had some sort of rare blood condition where the vaccine didn't work well with her. And since people were saying it was the vaccine, that wasn't, that was misinformation or not the whole story or out of context. And so they kicked her off of fucking TikTok. Yeah. Disseldinger, I don't think she ever recovers, right? She's her immune system is fucked forever. Poor girl, she was in bad shape. Yeah. I can't believe she's still alive, to be honest. When I stumbled across her account, I was shocked. But I guess everything related to her is getting the boot from TikTok. We're letting social media people fucking control us. I can't wait to show Greg this clip of John Kerry. I think he's at the World Economic Forum. Now it's basically John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, and Bill Gates are now all calling for the fucking they're not saying it in these words, but I'll let you interpret it. They're basically saying, well, I mean, they're saying freedom of speech and the First Amendment is a threat to democracy. And John Kerry goes on as far as to say basically that we can't have a democracy, that people are too stupid. Do you remember when all that information was coming out about COVID? And Gavin Newsom, they asked, hey, Gavin, how come you're not telling the truth? How come you're not showing the scientific papers? How come you're not just stating the facts? And he said straight up, he didn't think the citizens of his state were smart enough to understand what was being said. So they didn't want to release it. It's not our... They're like, they've become our overlords. They behave, the government behaves like the way parents behave to kids. It's become such a slippery slope. I did, Sebi, did you, Craig Richards, Sebi, did you see the very strategically edited 60 Minutes piece with Kamala by CBS? You know what's funny is there's a video going around. There's one particular clip, and they said before the edit and after the edit, or after the edit and before the edit. And I couldn't tell what the implications were, believe it or not. I was too stupid to understand. I watched it like 3 times, and I'm like, I don't see the implications here. But I know 60 Minutes is a shit organization. I've seen them work before, and I've seen them manipulate pieces before. I've actually been there with their 5 producers and their 3 cameramen as they interview people. And if they don't like what they're getting, they will change it right there on the spot. It's pretty bad. It was weird seeing it, because as a kid, as I grew up, I always thought of them as like a legitimate source. But I don't know how Kamala, to be honest, I don't know how Kamala survives that interview. Boy, that was bad. I watched Patrick Bet-David's take on it, and his take on it is that they were so firm with Kamala, and they came at her with all the follow-up questions, and they were I wouldn't say they were hard on her, but they treated her like a real interview. But Patrick Bet-David's angle is that the only reason why they did that was somehow that would entice Trump to come on. Savon, have you looked into any of the weather manipulation stuff? It might be a stretch, but it's fishy. Lots of lithium that needed mining in North Carolina. Department of Justice has a contract for it. I mean, over the last 2 years, I've probably spent a couple hours Googling. I'd say once a month, I type that in, weather manipulation, and I've been watching old videos. And I saw articles even from the New York Times in the 70s where they were talking about doing weather manipulation. And I guess the military did it in Vietnam. So I guess it's been going on a long time. People are comparing it to what happened in Hawaii. I don't know. Nothing surprises me anymore. I'll tell you that. Nothing at all. Nothing at all surprises me. There's also Disney tunnels in Orlando they want to cover up. Is that you're joking? Like maybe it's not true. I saw the videos come out about the tunnels under Diddy's house. I couldn't find a single one of them that made me think it was true. Hey, and I don't think those people should be taken off of YouTube for saying that either. Isn't it funny? The misinformation people seem to have no problem with misinformation about that. Get the book Angels Don't Play This Harp. Facility is in Alaska, high altitude auroral research project. Oh, about the Borealis. Is that thing fake too? Is that thing man-made? Boy, wouldn't that be fucking... I mean, that would be amazing if they found tunnels under Disney. Ryan Kaut, Diddy's tunnels are between his butt cheeks. They. No way. 2,000 kids go missing a year from amusement parks? That I don't believe. I did see yesterday the school district in my area sent out an email that said that there's a guy in the area who's been arrested for I don't know if he's been arrested for actually having sex with kids, but he was on Snapchat, 35-year-old guy, and he was arrested for using Snapchat to lure kids into fucked up situations all around my area. I don't know what parent is letting their kids get on Snapchat. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I got a DM from a lady. I think she said she had 5 kids, and she waited till one of her kids was her oldest child. She waited till he was 15 before she got him a phone, and she still said the phone fucked him up. Completely fucked him up, she said. It was a great story. I was so happy she shared it. Gave him a phone when he was 15. She said the other 4 kids, she got them this other kind of smartphone that doesn't have Snapchat or Instagram or any social media, and those kids turned out fine. Chris Biesterfield, Snapchat destroys homes. I haven't heard one good thing about Snapchat. Not one. It sounds horrible. Brianna, I actually think Snapchat is a pretty safe app compared to Instagram. Just don't add random people, and it's super private with you and your friends. I guess the state of New Mexico created a fake account with the profile of a 14-year-old girl, and within 2 weeks, she was getting solicited for things, sex and nude pictures and stuff on there. within 2 weeks, the Snapchat algorithm was sending her fucking creeps. I don't know how Snapchat works. I tried to use it a couple years ago. I couldn't understand it. Heidi Kroom, don't listen to Brianna. She's 20. Zero privacy while in my house. Privacy is for adults. Hmm. It's just uh it's just I'm assuming the way the program works in just like Instagram. I guess anyone can follow you. But what's crazy is that the algorithm is sending people, adult men, to a 14-year-old girl's profile. That doesn't make any sense to me. Or maybe they're not. I don't know how it works. Maybe they're not sending the adult men to the kids, but the kids are seeing that as one of the options. It made it look like she had like 80 or 90 requests, and some of those were adult male predators. And I guess what Brianna's saying is you don't have to add them, but like I don't even want my kids being approached by those people. I don't want to be approached by those people. Yeah, that's what I think of Snapchat. When it first came, Snapchat is for sending nudes. I remember when it came out, whenever like 10 or 15 years ago, whenever that was, that was the deal. The whole deal was you could send people stuff and then it vanished, which I never understood because you could just take a screenshot of it. Sevi, please buy Gregory a mic. Please. Thank you. He's had a bunch of mics. I can try. Oh, you know what I can do? You know that $40 mic I bought on Amazon? I could send him that and see if I can plug that in and just leave it at his house. I don't think I'm going to get him to travel with it. I'm setting up the phone. Snapchat is used now for drug deals with teens. Yeah, I mean, remember a couple years ago I had the guy on who made the movie, the fentanyl movie, and it seemed like half those adults. I mean, those were adults. I think they were adults. They were like 18-year-olds. And they got drugs. I mean, they weren't even getting. They were like trying to order Xanax, and then it would be laced with fentanyl, and they'd die. My algorithm is driven by Sevi's behavior. My algorithm is driven by your guys' behavior. The lady over at Exerciser, our contact over there, told me that she would get the Fitbit for the penis CEO on the show. What was that thing called? FirmTech? I was actually thinking about that thing this morning. I think that thing would interfere with its own data. I wonder what you guys think, but if you had something on your penis all night, you would probably get more spontaneous erections anyway. Right? I mean, I can't even imagine slipping that thing on and not getting erect. I don't understand how other guys work. I don't. The sequencing of the operations doesn't seem something doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to have sex and then like demand my penis awaken. My penis is awake and it demands I have sex. I mean, if I were gonna personify it like that, I calibrate. I calibrate. It's not like it would be like if my hand determined when I ate. My hand's just the tool of some other desire to eat. I don't feel like it's my hand that's like the driving force in that. It's the tool. It facilitates it. So, you know, I'm laying in bed and I see my wife get undressed and get into bed, and then all of a sudden my penis is like, all right, let's get a piece of that. And I'm like, all right. And then the body facilitates it. My body drags the penis over there and gets to work. My hips aren't like I'm horny. I mean, if I had to like parson it out like that, it's more like that. I don't know if that's being a stud. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's just the order of operations. It would be like if I see a shovel in my yard, the shovel doesn't tell me
You bring me nice tea.
the shovel doesn't tell me to go dig a hole. I decide I want to dig the hole, but the penis is the opposite. The penis is a shovel that has a mind of its own. It's like, hey, grab me and dig a hole. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Sorry about my punctuality here.
I was I had
StreamYard got weird for me. It wanted me to use the same device that whatever. I'll talk to you later about it.
Your connection's awesome.
Well, good. I'm on my my Air.
Is it your MacBook Air?
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're in a hotel room?
No, I'm in the bar area of the house, Exeter House.
Oh, I was gonna be like, I don't recognize that place at all.
It didn't come to your text message.
Oh, you're in the oh, I see where you are. Oh, why are you there? Why aren't you in the schoolroom?
Pilot Mikey was sleeping in the room there.
Oh, okay.
And I just couldn't get my setup together.
Okay.
We had some painting done and some thresholds raised in the house. And so there's drop claws on things. We we're back here ahead of schedule.
Greg, let's start with a tough question already this morning. Sorry just to ambush you like this. Has Greg ever written a training program for porn star? You ever had any porn stars as clients? I know you've had some people who should be porn stars. God, Greg Amundsen would have made a great porn star.
Yeah, I don't.
That Christianity thing fucked that up for him.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds familiar. I sure knew a lot of people in the industry. I mean, I used to train at a Gold's Gym in Northridge.
Yeah, you would tell me stories about people who would be in there. NFL football players, Todd Christensen. Obviously,
well, Gold's Gym in Venice was kind of a hotbed for celebrities rolling through.
Yeah, you would think that that's interesting that it wasn't. I guess that was before the big porn boom, anyway, right?
No. I mean, Chatsworth was famous for it even then.
And then Malibu is Chatsworth. Where's Chatsworth?
It's San Fernando Valley, northwest San Fernando Valley.
And that was the VHS days of adult film.
Yeah, I mean, most of it's still located around there.
God, wasn't that what a fascinating era? Do you remember walking into every single like mom and pop video store, and that they would have a little room in the back with the beads hanging down, like no matter, and then and it said adult films.
Yeah, there were whole like buildings with just that shit in it, that and toys.
I don't remember those, but I just remember being a little kid and walking into a video store, no matter where I went, and they would have a spot that said adult films, and I never questioned it. I never said to my dad or my mom or anyone, "Hey, what's back there?" You just knew. Hey, that's probably the closest that now that I think about it, that porn's ever come out. Do you know what I mean? That's like the closest it brushed up with like civilization, like in the open public. I mean, I guess I wasn't alive before then, so no. Even at 7-Eleven, the magazines were behind. Remember the magazines in 7-Eleven? They would be behind the counter, and they would have like those black things in front of it. Like if you're a little kid, all you could see was like the girl's eyes.
I don't want to call Paris Hilton or Kim porn stars, but the fact that millions of people saw them fuck on video,
right? Or Pam Anderson.
Or Pam Anderson wasn't that wasn't a career ender. And I would imagine at this point, they've got people like Madonna thinking, I should have just fucking done it, man. I came so close, you know?
Released a sex tape, that one leak.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see the Paris or Kim one, but I saw the Pam Anderson one. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Tommy Lee's penis was like a pencil. It was the weirdest penis I'd ever seen. I'd never seen a penis like that. It was so trippy. It was so skinny and so long. But I'm just talking about like just brushing up against society. Like it was just there. Like there was no, like if there was ever a chance I was going to ask my parents about porn, it was that. It was like, hey, what's in that back room? But I mean, I just never did. I was scared of that back room.
I didn't grow up with independence in that space. Damn few.
It was all like organizations.
Blockbuster, you know?
Right. Well, to edit movies then, or to print, fuck me. Really? Can you see me still?
No.
But you could hear me?
Mm-hmm.
This is the second day in a row this has happened. Hold on 1 second. I have to get this camera fixed, I guess. Studio display. Okay, I guess I'm orange today. I'm back?
You're back.
Yeah. This is the camera off the monitor now. Anyway, I guess now it's on the internet everywhere. But you know, then you're by yourself. Your parents aren't, you know, in the room with you. You're not looking at Raiders of the Lost Ark and then out of the corner of your eye watching someone go in and out of the porn room. Yeah, those were all leaked on purpose, right? Probably the Paris Hilton, the Kim Kardashian. You think the Pamela Anderson?
It felt like it to me.
Right. That camera adds 10 years. Great. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's hot. Great. It's the camera is plugged in to its own source. Maybe it's just not charging fast enough.
Why are the monitor cameras not as good as the laptop ones?
You mean why am I orange and you're not?
No, I mean, I've had the problem before when I've used the studio and used the built-in camera on the monitor, and it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I don't know. It could also be my lighting in here, but I don't know.
My sound's okay.
Yeah. Although today someone was saying they're like, get Greg a mic, but I think you sound great. I did order. I'll send you another mic. There was this. I was out of town and my headset stopped working when I was in Huntington Beach, and I ordered a $40 mic off of Amazon, and people were like, "Holy shit, that's awesome!" I have an Echo now too. Please, no. Oh, who? Greg's? No, that's not bad. Latest MacBook cameras are pretty good compared to any built-in camera. Well, that's the one you have.
Yeah, I'm on the MacBook Air.
I wanted to show you this video. This is I think this is some really scary shit. This is I think this is John Kerry at the World Economic Forum. I cannot believe the shit that's coming out of his mouth.
If you missed this, they're just straight up telling you that they're going to get rid of the First Amendment now.
Anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. The referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of been eviscerated to a certain degree. People go and that people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. There's a lot of discussion now about how you you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the right to govern. Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to implement change. That's really dangerous.
Really, if democracy can survive.
I think democracies have not proven they can move fast enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing. And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about.
Nothing's as comforting.
Can you fucking believe he's saying this shit out loud? You see what's happening right now? They're basically fluoride's been completely villainized. A year ago, if you said fluoride was bad, you would get kicked off of Instagram, and now it's like everywhere. Laws are passing everywhere to take the fluoride out of the water. Like, it's conclusive. There's only two major studies on it, but both of them show, one was in China and one was in the United States, and they both show that, like, if you get too much fluoride, it lowers your IQ as a child after just 2 or 3 exposures, and you're done. Like, you can't get those IQ points back.
I have a hard time believing anyone measured that.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just assume it's true.
I would be shocked if the people that did this study even knew what science was
or what IQ is.
Is it measurable?
But it's a good question. But assuming it is real, for the sake.
You turn test answers into scientific data.
Well, I mean,
is that an observation of the real world? I mean, is it a registration on the senses or sensing equipment of the real world?
I mean, it's all relative to the test, right? And whatever bias the test has.
IQ's like it's got as much science to it as saying she's in fucking 9.7.
Right. Okay. Well, whatever the test is, if we're assuming at least it's consistent.
Let me guess. I haven't seen either one, but here's what I would guess they've done is poisoned rats or mice.
Right.
And then gave them an IQ test and they didn't do so good. That would be my guess. That's a standard kind of medical thing. You do something to a mouse and then say, and it's sometimes really hard. Like, they don't get the diseases we get. So you have to do something fucked up to the mouse so it can have the disease,
Yeah. But assuming it is true, a year ago, Instagram was letting you say was not letting you say it was bad, and now the consensus, I guess, has flipped, and so they are letting you say it's bad now. And this John Kerry guy is saying that, hey, that's bad to have differing opinions because it doesn't allow the government to govern. I mean, he wants to get rid of ideas just altogether, snuff ideas out. It's fucking wild. The democracy can't keep up with the technology. I mean, the way I hear that is he's saying we're no longer capable of having democracies. And he's suggesting that consensus somehow makes something correct.
I wonder if he knows what a democracy is. I mean that in all seriousness.
I know you do.
Most people, this whole democracy, the people talking out of the people that want to take our rights away from us. I've made that claim all along, and now here what we did. That's pretty direct. Okay, First Amendment, they want to get rid of that one. The second one, they want to get rid of that one, and we have to do that for a democracy. This sounds like the democracy that remember when Hitler got elected.
Yeah, he was going to bring equality.
He ran on a Good Housekeeping, did a thing. We covered this on CrossFit.com, ran the Good Housekeeping article that said, finally, we have a bohemian national leader. And he loves to cook. Hitler was a great cook. He made dinner for the people at Good Housekeeping. And he loves pets. And Goebbels, Hitler was a painter and Goebbels was like a musician or a poet or some fucking thing. Oh, they were artistic. A reflection of the jazz age and democratically elected.
That
I find
Kamala's
it, I
running on
find it,
Good
I
Cooking.
find it compelling that the people that talk democracy don't seem to put a value on freedom, on liberty.
Mm.
And if I got a choice of living with rights or living where everyone votes, I'm going to go where there's rights.
Right.
The Bill of Rights, those 10 amendments, are to protect you against majorities. Doesn't matter how unpopular your opinion is, we can't vote that you don't get to talk. Those 10 amendments transcend any value in voting.
Freedom of speech, right to bear
Freedom of
arms.
speech, right to assembly, the right to your property, requirements of due process, being judged by a jury of your peers. Well, let's get rid of all that shit and call it democracy. So instead of a trial, the mayor can decide if you're guilty or your punishment. We can censor our social media, take away your guns, and do the happy democracy dance like fucking idiots. If I could live under a king, call him a dictator, where I had the right to free speech, the right to assemble, the right to bear arms, the right to don't touch me or my fucking shit, under a king, or living in a democracy where I have none of that, the democracy doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me. The expectation of our founding fathers is that it would secure those rights that they thought were the 10 amendments. They're not amendments in the sense of that when the founding fathers got together at the Constitutional Convention, the only thing they could really agree on was the Bill of Rights, those things. And so they saved that for last and included it. What they really wanted was a system of governance that would protect those rights. And they had some strong, well-expressed opinions on what kind of populace would be required to protect that. That we had an obligation to teach our kids about the Romans, about the Greeks, about civics. I mean, they were far more sophisticated. Madison, Jay, all those guys, Hamilton, way more sophisticated than today's politicians. Way more sophisticated. Trump's got an IQ of 100. Kamala's is probably 75. She's profoundly, obviously stupid. I saw where Elon Musk got fact-checked and that there's no evidence to support the claim that the Democrats want this influx of immigrants to register to vote. If you really think that there's no evidence for that, if you don't find it exceedingly plausible, I think you're not really paying attention to the national scene. The border problem, the border problem identified during the Obama administration, the Epoch Times said to understand it, made a great graphic on this, but it's basically about the bluing of Arizona, Texas, and Florida. That was the attempt. There's nothing going on at the border that wasn't engineered. Nothing happening at the border that wasn't engineered. The fentanyl on China's side and the cartels, the new bodies over here, that's the Democratic Party. They got to power and they tore down the border.
I was looking. They keep talking about housing shortages, and in 2022, there were twice as many homes that were built in 2000 as opposed to 2013. It was like 1.5 million. And obviously, if you let in 10 million people into the country, there's going to be a housing shortage of 8.5 million homes. I mean, it's complete insanity. Dixon Ciderbox, let's not believe wholesale research that we agree with fluoride. The coach is keeping Sevi honest. It's not a single data point issue either. Just go type in fluoride in toothpaste and find out the origins of it. It was a byproduct of some like steel making or something. They were pouring it into rivers and it was fucking just decimating whole rivers. And so they were trying to figure out what they could do with it. And then someone saw that it does make the enamel on your teeth stronger. And so they started putting it in toothpaste. And then there's clear studies that I think Greg would agree with that shows the efficacy of the reduction of cavities using fluoride versus not using fluoride. So let's not don't get too crazy. You don't want that shit in your mouth. Sevog, BlackRock is purchasing ridiculous amounts of homes.
I've seen that.
Christian, TikTok is buying all stocks back from employees. Word is less than 24 months before it's banned in North America. This is from a member that works for them.
It's not being banned.
He's saying in 24 months. No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think that's an accurate description of the thing. What they're saying is, you're not going to be allowed to operate here being run by the Communist Party.
Oh, right.
And of course they are. Everything is.
And so you think, but if they don't get the leadership or the ownership changed, then will they ban it? I can't imagine China not finding a workaround, right?
Look, they're employing an enormous amount of effort, and some of it with Oracle's help, in keeping their own people from the workarounds.
I'm not following you.
There isn't a that regime depends for its existence on keeping the truth from several billion people.
The Chinese regime.
They're not in the business of information propagation.
Right. Unless it's right. Okay.
They only play a defensive game.
The Chinese.
Well, I'm in terms of information flow.
Right.
What is there some reality the Chinese could pump over here that we're really not free? They really are. I mean, maybe in a generation you could pull that off.
I mean, what I've been seeing a lot of propaganda lately. I don't even know if it's propaganda, but they're making it look like life in Russia is better than life in the United States. This juxtaposition of our cities, the health of the people, the way the women and men look. I've been seeing some videos like that. And these man on the street interviews they're doing in Russia where they're like, hey, what's your impression of America? God, it's horrible.
I could paint that picture.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make a laundry list of California's problems, and none of them are Idaho's problems, and about 2/3 of them are Arizona's problem.
Right.
We don't go into the local grocery store and have to spend $35 for New York steak like you do in Watsonville.
Yeah.
Fucking shocked at that.
Where don't you have to do that? Arizona and Idaho?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Josephina said she hasn't noticed an increase in the price of groceries. I got slapped in the face and you got a $400 bag of fucking groceries in a shitty neighborhood in Santa Cruz.
Right.
The prices of food have risen so much. I was asking, and who was it? It was a husband and wife. Who?
Yeah, I was just in Sacramento and spent $1,500 on steaks for a house full of boys. It was nuts.
Oh, my veterinarian. You're a veterinarian.
Oh.
He's a veterinarian. She's a veterinarian. I asked him, have you noticed the food prices increasing? He goes, dude, it's been horrible for us. And I go, tell me more. Like, what's that look like in practical implications? He says, I used to be able to have a New York steak 1 or 2 a week. Now I have ground beef once or twice a week. He used to shoot pigs and take them to Freedom Meat Locker or to Corralitos Meat Market to get butchered.
Uh-huh.
And it was $265 regardless of the size of the hog. No, it was some amount per pound, and it came for a big boar. He said it'd be about $265 to have it all turned into sausage and whatever, edible.
Right.
It says now that figures $500 something regardless of the size. And so he bought his own grinder. Now he goes, he hunts and grinds his own meat to eat, and for economic reasons.
Yeah,
he
Donovan.
He can't even afford to have the fucking thing butchered.
Donovan started doing that, hunting his own meat because it's cheaper.
No,
Caller.
because you can't afford the meat otherwise.
Right. Caller, hi.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Hey.
Pleasure. Long-time listener, Greg. Been following your methodology for a long time. On this particular topic, I was curious. I feel like we've been paying, there's been inflation that's pervasive in our society before recent times when they started to talk about it. And I kind of wanted your take on it. For example, private equity has been buying up tons of practices such as veterinary practices, etc. So like you used to be able to go to your vet, right, get a nominal service or whatever the service was, and in and out, on with life. Now they're all owned by, or that's one business that's owned by private equity, and you can't leave there without a significant bill. They mandate certain services, etc. So I listened to you about big soda and all that jazz, and it seems to me, this is just a thought, observation in society, that private equity is perhaps infiltrating our marketplace and causing a lot of these headaches, along with big soda, government, etc. And I don't know, it's an observation. I was curious on your take on that.
I would probably meet you in the middle and say that that big sugar and the worst of our food problems have come about through a perversion of the marketplace and of science by industry. And if I had this, if there were a particularly egregious manner of business practice for me, I identify it with MBAs.
Which I actually have a funny retort to that. In my business, I would oversee some hiring, and it's funny. I used to, I'd say kid, but a younger person, male, female, never cared. Somebody that's hungry and willing to learn versus an MBA. And I always said that an MBA stood for more bullshit answers because they give me 50 reasons, make sense reasons as to why something couldn't be done versus the hungry kid, youthful employee who would just like be a go-getter and go after it.
Hey, that's fascinating. I had a friend who went to the Haas Business School, and you just described him perfectly. Greg knew him too. Every time I wanted to do something, he had 1,000 reasons we couldn't do it. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I used to beg HR to just vet out everybody with a beyond high, that particular higher education. College was fine, but like beyond that, I honestly couldn't give a crap.
Right.
Philippe Kahn, who's a friend of mine, has launched a handful of startups in Santa Cruz area that have sold for 9 or 10 figures to Fortune 100 companies. He's probably done this 4, 5, 6 times now, five times, I believe. And he told me that with clearer vision, better understanding, more knowledge, he wouldn't have started a one of them. They found obstacles that were seemingly so insurmountable, and then did. They did it. They had a contract with Sprint to handle one of his startups, to handle all of their photos. And this is when pictures were brand new to phones, brand new. And they had a contract to manage those. You know that everyone involved in this practically, Sevi. And what happened is, I think it was on a Mother's Day, they lost every fucking picture. They all disappeared.
Wow.
So they end up in front of Sprint, and what do? Fucking audacious bastards suggest that they handle their operating system for them after fucking this up. They changed the scope of what they were going to do and what the relationship was, and it worked. Talked them into it. Eric said he couldn't believe what he was hearing. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Like he thought that was the exact, he didn't come in apologizing. He's, we're going to, this is what we're going to do now. Let's rethink the whole relationship. And they went for it, and it worked. But on that instance, was what provoked him to tell me, dude, it's always been that way. Every one of my startups fell into some fatal quagmire that we rescued it from, and it turned huge. That resonates with me. Now, here's my sense of MBAs. I wouldn't let one near any business I was running, from a multinational to a popsicle stand, a lemonade stand. CrossFit employed one MBA. He was a friend of mine since the 5th grade. And we were careful to keep him pointed at things that worked for him and for us. It took effort.
Do I know who that is? I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a dear friend, but I mean, he's come up with ideas like he and his wife were going to recommend reading to people and charge for it on a subscription basis. And I go, I pay you to tell me what to read? Wow.
Yeah, I guess that's part of my personal greater.
And I'll tell you the other thing I hate is venture capital. Hate VCs. Hey, what's your name? I never saw a name for you.
No, yeah, sorry, I'm not that good as it relates to these mediums. My first name is Mike. My last name is Dell, just like the computer.
Yeah, Mike, your voice sounds very familiar to me. Have we met before?
We have not.
Okay.
I hope that we're able to at some point in the future, but no, we have not.
Come around, Mike. I'm available for everyone. Hey, kid, there's a book called Founders at Work, and a gal did it for her master's thesis, MBA thesis, and it's absolutely brilliant, fascinating. And what she did is she went to Intel and to Apple and interviewed the founders about the early days. What was in your head? What did you think before it was big? What was going on? And I got to tell you, about 2/3 of the stories you have, either whether it's someone like a Michael Dell or a Wozniak or a Jobs, they all fucking hate VCs. And they name them by name, by organization, and individuals that lied to them and ripped them off and fucked them over. I mean, it's candid as hell. If there's a takeaway from that book, it's beware of the VCs. You can see this on the micro, just a small example, when someone opens a gym, and Brendan did this. Brendan, our buddy Allison's Brendan, dear friend, but as good a trainer as I've ever known. Maybe if someone puts a gun, maybe pick a great trainer. Of all the trainers you see, Brendan Gilliam's going to come up high for me. But brilliant trainer. But Brendan, I don't know if I can tell the story.
Is it when he opened his gym in Scotts Valley?
Yeah, he opened his gym in Scotts Valley, and one of his clients was a welder. So that guy's going to make the gear, and another guy could secure the building and cover the equipment and all that. And so a year later, the welder and the money bag guy are just taking 2/3 of the profits, and Brendan's in the gym 12 hours a day. he's fucked. There's no fixing that.
HGR CBD.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
No. I guess that's full circle on my original premise and thoughts as it relates to, private equity, which is, again, I'm not shitting on those guys, but those firms are run. Obviously, you have to be credentialed as MBAs and all that jazz. And I guess I'm about competition in the marketplace, right? Which is why you say you could have a gym, right? There could be multiple in a small vicinity, and the best will stand out, right? That's capitalism, that's competition, that's healthy. And I guess my concern, more broadly speaking, and wanted your thoughts, you adequately answered, was all of these guys, these firms, these higher education purported to be, the best of society, gobbling up the world and really consolidating the marketplace, right? And driving this.
We're in agreement.
I guess my thought is why is that not part of the conversation about our society and future betterment? You know what I mean? Much like you're going after big soda and big pharma and all those things, and how they are dangerous to where our country is, maybe even our world is going. How come no one is discussing things like this? I guess that was my take.
Someone asked here, why does Greg dislike venture capital? Bootstrapping a startup is incredibly difficult. And, it wasn't that difficult. And I did bootstrap it. And we were profitable on the very first seminar.
Wow.
I charged a flat fee. It was government work, but I charged a flat fee, and I didn't have any help. And I would stand there, do a 1-man 3-day seminar for people. And the first affiliate was profitable. It was $500 for a year. I put the $500 in my pocket, I do understand it's difficult, and some things bootstrapping like a chip manufacturer or what Elon's done, probably impossible. But my sense of business, and I got to go to Harvard Business School and preach this to those kids every year. It was one of the funnest things I did leading CrossFit. But I told them that for me, business is the art and science of providing uniquely attractive opportunities for other people. And that's a very different thing than business is about making money. Because being a thief is about making money.
Exactly.
And there's an MBA oath, a book, The MBA Oath, and it's written by Harvard business students. And they go, why are we the only professional training program without an oath? They got it in law, they got it in medicine, they got it in accounting, but there's nothing in business. My father got used to quit hiring MBAs. He hated them. So I was raised with this. He hated them. And he convinced the CEO of Hughes to do an experiment and start hiring BAs to do the same thing as the MBAs. And he says, and if I'm wrong, we should be able to measure the productivity drain in our finance side.
I mean, what is their skill set?
Tell me another master's degree you can get after getting a Bachelor of Arts in Gender Studies. You're more than qualified to get an MBA. Try that in chemistry. Try it in physics. Try it in math. Walk into a graduate program with a background chosen with a dart. You're going to fail.
They have no skill set that they bring to anything that wants productivity.
The famous MBAs, the Peter Thiels, who's a delightful human being. It was such an honor to go over his house and have breakfast with Russ Green and hang out. But the MBAs that know and have done amazing things. I think they would have done those without the MBA.
Right.
Because the bulk of them are fundamentally worthless. I mean that when I tell you I don't want an MBA anywhere near a business of mine. And I don't want partners that contribute nothing but money.
Yeah, everyone I speak to is always, as you can attest, they're always speaking about, I can grow this and I can make this more efficient, but there's oftentimes very little added of value that's tangible, that they didn't, in school, which is why they didn't create maybe their own business, right? They're always kind of, operating off the backs of others.
That's right.
That's one of the greatest grifts of our time.
If you use my definition of business, this creating a uniquely attractive opportunity for other people, some of the essential features of that you're not in the formula, other than you're the doer, right? You're the subject. You're gonna, but the direct object of that thing is the other people, and it's actually not correct. But the receiver is the other people. And you can look at any successful or powerful brand and frame it in terms of they're providing a uniquely attractive opportunity for other people, the customers. And the proof of it's uniquely attractive is they bought yours and not someone else's. And anyone that does that ends up rich, whether it's software, comfortable. There's different levels of rich,
Sure.
but.
All right, caller. Thank you.
Nice meeting you, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Pleasure to speak to both of you, and I hope to call in the future.
Thank
Good.
you.
Mike, and we're in agreement.
Have a great day.
I think your point's well taken. I'm gonna.
You guys in the chat are talking about gun rights, and you're totally you don't get sucked into where Pat wants to have the argument. It's fucking crazy. It's like we absolutely have to have gun rights. Getting rid of guns would be a fucking monstrous disaster. Curtailing anything around guns would be a monstrous disaster. It's the only thing fucking protecting us now from fucking a complete fucking government overthrow.
If John Kerry gets his way, if his vision comes to be, and we lose our right to free speech, it's time to start shooting politicians. I'm bringing my gun to the town hall free speech debate where a binding resolution is passed on whether we have free speech or not. I'm bringing my gun. And if we lose and we lose our free speech, I'm going to be one of the shooters. Was it John, one of the late night talk shows hosts?
Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert.
One of them was, I don't want to besmirch anyone, but one of them was explaining that guns don't protect your free speech, that Elon had that wrong. And it's funny what he doesn't understand. But if you're trying to stop my free speech and I put a bullet in your head, you won't be stopping me from free speech anymore. It's pretty graphic, but it's a fact.
Right. I mean, that's why they tried to kill Trump, to stop him from talking.
He had to be shot to preserve democracy.
Right.
Yeah.
When
look, the left's okay with shooting to protect democracy. I'm okay with shooting to protect our rights, freedom.
Right. No one ever thinks about the cure causing more damage than the actual problem.
Every liberal nostrum is like that, and that's why you have Newsom vetoing that bill that was going to try and metric the spend on homeless and the number of homeless. And he vetoed it. And why? He can't let it be known that every single solution they have for every problem was actually engineered to make it worse and entrench their power.
Exacerbate the problem rather than cure it.
You think the left is bothered by we got a generation of kids that there's fewer readers than ever before? Not at all.
They love it.
They love it.
It's the defund the police because there's 12 unarmed black men who were shot, and then the following year, black on black crime increases 400%. It's like, what the fuck did you just do?
Yeah, listen, I don't want my kids getting books from their elementary school library on anal sex.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, and so that makes me a book banner.
Right.
And these same people that call me a book banner are going to stop my free speech to protect their vision of democracy.
God, the book banning argument is so weak.
It's so stupid.
This is a good one too. You and I were talking about deep state the other day.
Listen, you don't get to decry book banning while you're calling for amendments to free speech.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone in a position of power on the left that believes any of the bullshit.
All the people who I know who are on the left ignore it. Like if you show them what the left is actually doing, they ignore it. They act like it's an isolated incident. That's their favorite thing to say. That's not really happening. It's an isolated incident. They basically it's equivalent to putting their thumbs in their ears and just going nah 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 and just not listening. Every single person when I bring stuff up. Greg, they're building a homeless shelter in North Carolina right now for $536 million for illegal immigrants, homeless illegal immigrants. Guess how many people it fucking houses? 800.
Okay.
They're building a fucking homeless shelter in North Carolina for that's over $500,000 a person for 800 fucking people.
Would the Helene victims be ineligible?
Yeah, they're not eligible.
Yeah.
And I was reading the story and I was like, can someone just do the math on that? If it's $500,000 a person and there's fucking 10 million of them, did no one do the math on that? That would be 500. What does that end up being? Is that 12 zeros? 500 million? That ends up being $500 billion. If you want to house them all, it's fucking insane. I want to tell you one more quick story. It's the same thing. I told my dad I had heard this story that they had taken over a hotel in the Tenderloin, the government did, and that they had started a project there, an experimental project where they were giving free alcohol away to homeless people, and that it was an experimental project, and they had nurses there administering the alcohol. And my dad told me I was fucking crazy, that I'll believe anything the news says. I go, okay, so you pick a media outlet and I'll look it up. So he picks some like the San Francisco Examiner. We look it up and it's true, but it gets worse. It's for only 20 people. They took over a hotel and they have a $5 million a year project in San Francisco to give 20 homeless people alcohol so they don't go through withdrawals and die. I mean, we're living with fucking complete wackadoodles.
Jeff Kane had told me that Is Seattle Dying was the conversation everywhere in Seattle. And that when you'd be standing in line at Starbucks, people were talking about that show. And it's really had quite an impact. It was
what was the show? Oh, yeah.
Is Seattle Dying?
Yeah, I watched that.
And so we watched and it was great. But we learned on there that state, county, and federal expenditure on the homeless problem just in Seattle, when you divide by however the fuck number of homeless people they got, it's $350,000 a head. is what they're spending annually on the homeless, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I mean, it'd be a whole lot cheaper to just send them all to Harvard, you know?
Right.
But
Or to Malibu for a rehab.
on hearing that, I told Jeff after watching, I go, someone's making a shit ton of money here. And he did the legwork, and we worked it out. There are a couple of organizations that are making billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. It's a business.
Yeah.
Ministering to the homeless is a business, and it's growing rapidly. And it's creating a rapidly growing customer base.
Here's another crazy one I heard yesterday. 40% of the taxes are paid by 1% of the U.S. population, and 50% of the population doesn't pay taxes.
Say that again.
40% of all the taxes are paid by 1% of the population, and 50% of the population doesn't pay any taxes. So 1%.
You know, and that 1%, the top 1%, includes some filthy rich people and a lot of people that you know, surgeons with a busy schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can make you 1 in 100. An orthodontist with 9 chairs.
Right.
Put you in that top 1%.
It's the fair share hoax.
Yes. Yes. But what Kamala knows and what BlackRock knows and what I know is that you won't get it. You put an exorbitant tax on me and I ain't paying it. I'm not going to pay it. What's my bracket? 30%, whatever it is. I won't leave for that. You drive it up north of that, I'm moving.
Jake Chapman, 40% of all penis inches are held by the top 10% of men. I'd really like to know the stat on that.
I don't even want to think about it.
Trish, the poor get taxed at the register.
The poor have 100% marginal tax rate. That's the highest tax bracket of all, is the people on assistance. Their marginal tax rate is 100%. So if you're on welfare and you get a job, you get benefits reduced by that amount. And every attempt to fix that, this is from Wealth and Poverty, every attempt to fix that has been fought violently by the Democrats. So has anything would allow you to see what people on welfare need is they need jobs and they need to be able to move. And they need to be able to keep those benefits while they work so that they can climb out. But nobody wants that to happen except George Gilder and you and I. That's baked into the system very, very deliberately. It's the new plantation. And the Democrats are happy to know that they got a third of the black population on the plantation. What is the number
Of the third of how many people? What
of black people that are couldn't feed themselves without the government?
I don't know, but I saw I saw something the other day. It was like 40% of food stamps are used to buy soda pop, which made me realize that the food stamp industry is just subsidizing big soda.
You try and get the food stamps to not cover soda, and the Democrats will call you a racist.
A third of the food stamp budget goes to what they call African Americans. I don't know what percentage of African Americans are on food stamps though. if that's the term you want to use. Caller, hi.
Good morning, Sebi. Good morning, Coach.
Hey.
Morning.
Hey, just wanted to share a quick story. So, my dad had a stroke back in June.
Your dad what?
Had a stroke in June at 67 years old. He's a immigrant, but completed his citizenship in Argentina. His fiance of 20 years, they got married, was an Armenian refugee. And she was pretty incentivized for the 30 years that she lived here not to work because she got a $4,000 a month refugee payment. If she did work, she was going to lose it.
Who paid that? The federal government paid that?
The federal government paid that. So Dad went to a skilled nursing facility and paid $272 out of his Social Security a month for Medicare so he could have a PPO or an HMO type program, something a little better than what a program would be. They only covered 10 days in the skilled nursing facility for him when he had a 100-day in care part of his plan. And their thing was he can get up and walk 10 feet on his own. Lost his ability to speak. I think he went blind in one eye because he actually was on the floor for 3 days. He lived alone before anybody found him. So
what year was this? What year was this?
Just this year.
Okay.
This year. Yeah. So we've been battling the insurance company, try to get him some care in-house because he's not able to move to his home. So we were forced to find like a boarding care place, which means we're paying $2,000 a month out of pocket as a family. And we have to sell his home, which is something that he wanted to do. He worked really hard and bought it at the age of 63. And now we have to sell it because the medical bills are just racking up like crazy. It's a system.
Hey, I'm very sorry. Are you? So you're Argentinian?
Well, no, I'm born here. He moved here when he was I think 16 or 17.
But your ethnicity?
Italian, Argentinian, Italian.
Okay.
So,
God, that's a fucking horrible story.
Well, not only that, when he bought his home, he was getting money to take care of his fiance who had cancer. So she was an Armenian refugee, $4,000 a month. He was getting $2,000 a month to take care of her. Factor that into his living, and then when she passed with Social Security, he almost didn't even have enough to cover his mortgage. So it's a sad story.
I'm sorry. That is horrific.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys' topics. It does help me to process through things and not feel crazy that it doesn't make sense to me, because a lot of this, if I have these thought processes or the ability to kind of listen to the different ideas and philosophies, I would just think I was crazy.
I fully understand that.
Yep.
Part of what creates this confusion on the part of people whose inclinations are conservative, I think, is that the position of the left is irrational, and a good chunk of them know it and don't really care.
Exactly.
And so you're, you're not going to have a debate. You won't have a meaningful debate with someone about cutting off little boys' penises so they can become girls.
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, I've shared my story with Savannah over, with my son, thinking that he was gay at the age of 13 and depression and suicidal thoughts and all that stuff. And, now he's 18 years old, and sexuality to me doesn't really mean as much as it did before, I guess the vision of it, but now he has a girlfriend and, he's thriving, and, it was a rough period just because he was going through depression while he was going through that part of his life.
There's a book, I think it's called The Anxious Generation. Do a fact check on me there, Sevi. But the author's thesis is that a lack of parenting has rewritten the rules for childhood, and it's created unprecedented mental illness in adolescence.
Oh yeah,
I'm bought in, like duh.
Yeah, it is crazy when it comes to those kind of things.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
Yep.
it went from we were afraid of nuclear war to we were afraid of AIDS.
Exactly. Say, Sevi, you grew up in the Bay. I grew up in East LA, but our trajectory and friends and stuff like that is pretty similar. So
Yeah. Do you remember that just the fear of nuclear war? It was like fuck.
Sevi, in the morning of the February 9th earthquake in 71 in Southern California, I woke to a noise ahead of the rumbling of the ground, and it was I thought I had just missed the flash, and I was just waiting for the blast wave to knock the house down.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought we'd been nuked. It was my first earthquake. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Well, I remember the Whittier earthquake. I was in the shower at I think 13 or 14 years old, and it was one of those rolling ones, and we lived in an old brick house. And I thought the shower head was like one of those movies that the shower head was going to come up and hit me in the head. So I'm trying to turn off the water right when it hit. Running around the house naked at 13, screaming.
Hey, is your dad going to get better?
I don't think so, Sevi. So we moved him closer to us. I'm in San Diego, so I moved him closer to this boarding care. It's basically a house that has nurses that live in it full time. So what's cool is I pick him up, I take him shopping, I took him to the barber the other day, so he kind of has somewhat of a quality of life, There's a whole system that you have to play. It's crazy to kind of get through everything. So
what caused the stroke?
Poor health,
okay.
Diabetic, high blood pressure, the trio that coach has talked to us about. And,
right.
When I look at it, the one speech that you gave, Coach, about alcoholism and what do you need for that gene to express itself is alcohol. And it's really helped me understand carbohydrates and, hey, that even though that's my genetics, if I make some minor lifestyle shifts, it doesn't have to be my future.
Barry Sears has to be 70 something now, deeply, nicely into his 70s, if not 80. No male in his family had lived past the age of 49.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so he realized he had a cursed gene. And what was the cursed? Carbohydrate intolerance.
Yeah. There's something humbling about having to help your parent bathe.
Yeah.
There's something humbling about that.
Hey, my mom got really bad vertigo for a week where she couldn't get out of bed. And it was only a week, but I picture it as being like that. So basically for a week, I just went over to her house fucking, 5 times a day. I made sure I'd bring something by. She couldn't move. And fortunately, what's funny is the doctors couldn't help her at all. And then she watched a YouTube video that she did some fucking thing with her head
movement.
Yeah, some head movement.
Yeah.
And she got to the 80% better just immediately. But yeah, it was very
you should see that video is still available, Sevi.
Oh, to see if people can still cure themselves, if they didn't take it down.
Yeah, I think that shit's strictly forbidden under the John Kerry laws.
Oh, right.
Well, so just for something that I learned through this whole process with my dad is, and we accidentally did it. I guess there's a way to do this on purpose. So when he had the stroke, since he lives in Victorville, and I'm in San Diego, he wasn't really friendly with much of his neighbors but one, and they noticed he hadn't taken out the trash, and that was part of his routine. So after 3 days is when they called the fire department. So he was in Arrowhead Hospital for 10 days before the neighbor went to visit him and said, hey, you haven't called his sons yet? And they had his cell phone. All they had to do was open it up and call. But so this placement specialist, because there's senior placement specialists or social workers that kind of help seniors that have this. If you try to apply for Medi-Cal as a U.S. citizen, it could take up to 8 to 12 months for your application to be received. if you're in one of these skilled nursing facilities, that process gets rapidly processed. So what would have taken us a year to get him onto Medi-Cal only took 12 weeks for this place to get him onto it. So what this specialist says is, if you have a family member that's having these issues, it's kind of scary that you have to do this. You have to pretty much take them to the emergency room, fake a major event, leave them there, wait for the hospital to get them to a skilled nursing facility, pressure the nursing facility to get them on Medi-Cal, and then you can find like these boarding carriers that I had that help supplement, because if not, it would be $5,000 a month for him to be where he's at. And it's crazy that you have to like fake the system for somebody who came here as an immigrant, started his own landscaping company. You know, my best friend's Black from Panama, and he started his own pest control business because he was inspired that my dad, who was also an immigrant, was able to work for himself, you know?
How's
And
this
now
pest control business doing?
Fantastic. He moved out of California and restarted one in Texas because it got a little too expensive here, but
Hey, what happened with your son? What do you mean you thought he was gay at 13 and then now he's not?
well, you don't remember. So at 13 years old, he had written a suicide note at school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had taken him out of class. And, you know, I was so focused on drug addiction with him that I never thought about the social pressures that kids would have. I was thinking about us growing up in the 80s and 90s, not what they're going through today.
Yeah.
So, you know, he changed his style drastically. His grades dropped. So when he wrote the suicide note, he was denying that it was him. The school had called and said, hey, there were 7 kids in class that didn't turn in their assignment. We don't think that your son's the one that wrote it, but we have to notify you. So that whole week, you know, there was one sentence in the suicide note that said something about hiding behind his humor that just kind of resonated with me, that it could be him.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a Friday evening. I went home after work and I said, hey, bud, like either you know who wrote the letter, which I can't live with, we need to help that kid, or you're the one that wrote the letter. And he just broke down crying that it was him. So we started family counseling. And then a couple of weeks later, he almost got into a fight at school. So we pulled him out. We put him into a private school. Fortunate that we could do that. And he just kept getting more and more withdrawn, even at the private school. It was almost even worse. So one evening, you know, we were going out to dinner and we were trying to pick where we were going. And there's 7 of us. So, you know, we don't always agree where we're at. And everybody was a little bit hangry. So it was one of those moments that it was like, we're turning the car around and going home. So my wife went in the room to talk to him that night. And that's when he came out to her that he was gay. And the next morning she called. I was out mountain bike riding at 5 a.m. And she texted me saying, hey, when you get home, we need to talk. And I was thinking, oh man, that was not that bad of an argument. Like, you know, when you get those text messages the next day, like we need to talk still. I was like, oh shoot. So when I got home, she was in our home gym and she just started crying. And she shared that, you know, that he came out that he was gay. And the night before, because he had some weird behaviors, and I would never say this to my kid. And I kind of, hopefully it's funny and received that well. One day we were kind of talking about something. I'm like, man, the weirdo, you know, like, because his behavior didn't make sense to me. So she's like, well, you know, he's gay. And I said, okay. She's like, you're not mad? You called him a weirdo. I said, well, it makes sense now. Like, hey, we're good. Like, we'll figure this out. So we were very supportive, you know, and I think one of the conversations that you had on your show, Sebi, really helped, which was when you're talking about your sexual preference, you're talking about having sex. And so I approached it that way with them. Like, hey, you know, there's no rush to figure out your sexuality. I'm supportive of whatever it is, but we're not okay with you having sex. So the rules aren't going to change much. And we kind of supported him all the way through. And I want to say when he was like 16, they went on a DC trip with the school. My wife was the chaperone with it. And he became best friends with this girl, and they naturally they've been together. She goes to Santa Cruz. She goes to UC Santa Cruz. They've been together now for 4 years. And, you know, and I asked him, what happened? Like, what does that mean? Like, you know, and he's like, I don't know. He can't really explain how that happened. What happened?
Yeah. Being 13.
So
being 13 is a trip, man.
And look, I think the social pressures that we talk about, like when we were growing up, gangbanging was cool. I lived in East LA. Guess what I did?
Right.
You know, like
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if it relates the same because, you know, again, I believe there are people that are truly born gay. Like I'm not, you know, questioning that, but there's also this group of kids that are coming through that are just confused and they don't know.
I had a friend whose kid went to a school where it became in vogue for the boys to kiss other boys and they even did it to impress girls.
Yeah.
And like, fuck. That's how powerful pussy is. You'll even do it. You want to fit in so bad that you'll even kiss a guy to get some pussy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, remember, I'm the accidental dick pic HR guy, so
oh right,
I understand how easy it is to fall into those things.
Right.
Sebi, you knew someone, Sebi, that let some dude fuck his girlfriend if he could fuck him in the ass.
Yes. Yes.
You knew Sean Diddy?
Yes. No. Fuck. I didn't know what you were gonna say there, Greg. I got scared for a second. Yeah. There was this. I knew a guy in college who had a best friend. They were best friends. Everyone knew they were best friends. And he said, "Hey, I'll let you fuck my girlfriend, but I get to fuck you in the ass."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they went for it.
Yeah, and he went for it.
What the hell? That's more Northern California than Southern California.
I didn't like that would happen in Santa Barbara. I didn't like the girl or the guy who was doing the fucking in the ass, but the other guy who took it in the ass, who fucked the girlfriend, he was so fucking cool. He ended up getting addicted to drugs and I lost him. But man, he was so fucking cool. Yeah. God, he was cool. Yeah.
Well, it was good catching up with you guys. I've been wanting to call in a little bit.
Where in San Diego are you?
I'm in North County, Escondido area. Carlsbad, Oceanside.
We're gonna be in San Diego for a week coming up here soon. DM Sevi, and I'm gonna try and lure him down there too. Maybe we could grab a taco or something while I'm down there.
Oh, dude, I would love that. Yeah, I'd love to meet you, dude. You've been a great. You're great.
That would be awesome. That would be.
In fact, I got a boat at Coronado, and we can even go out on the boat or something.
All right, I shook your hand at the 16.5 CrossFit games at the ranch when Froning, Frazier, and Ben Smith were doing the burpee thruster workout, and Dave almost died after it doing it.
Hey, do you have my phone number, right?
I do. Yep,
okay.
Yep, I do.
Okay. Now I'm connecting the dots.
I would love to.
Okay.
Set that up, Sevi, and figure out when you're going to come down during that visit.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, you guys. You guys have a good one.
All right.
Thank you. Enjoy your day, brother.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey, Greg. Do you remember recently the Supreme Court made that ruling where judges didn't have to take the direction from outside agencies on matters like I can't remember the exact court case, but there was a court case. The famous one was the Chevron case where you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, didn't that deal with government by fiat? These agencies were adjudicating matters on both sides' behalf.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would be like the CDC deciding they're not even a branch of our government, but all of a sudden the CDC is deciding we all have to take the injection.
So you get a disagreement with the EPA, and you end up in front of the EPA judge.
Right.
The judge who works for the EPA.
Yeah. As opposed
to no, you're guilty.
Do you consider that the deep state?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Me too. Because I want to show you a video.
Board of Education.
Yeah.
The Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
Increasingly, Department of Defense.
Yeah. Check this out. This is a great clip. It's a little long, but it's a great clip.
Ask you this about Big Pharma. This is about vaccines. You say that the government regulators have been bought off by Big Pharma. I think that's what you're saying when you say that this entanglement has occurred. You said agency employees are actually getting royalties, getting payments on vaccines and drugs that they approve. Is that true?
Yes, there's a couple things happening. For example, the Moderna vaccine. NIH owns half of that vaccine, 50%. So the billions of dollars that vaccine makes, half of that goes to NIH, the agency, but there's also individuals, at least 4 and maybe 6 individuals who work for NIH who are high-level deputies under Anthony Fauci, who get to collect $150,000 a year forever, not just for their lives, but their children. As long as that mRNA technology is on the market, they're going to be making money from it.
Okay,
And that is a conflict.
hang on a minute now, because
That's deep state shit, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
It's crazy that someone would think that the deep state doesn't exist.
Yeah, what's the Marcia Engel book on pharma? But I think it was written in the 80s, 90s.
Was it the one on breast implants?
Not that one, no, but I don't know, one of her books, and this is while she's editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, she claims that the regulatory capture of the FDA by pharma is 100%. That nothing happens at the FDA that wasn't directed by pharma.
The drug hunters, the truth about drug companies.
Is that Marcia Engel?
Yeah.
Well, that would be it. And I was left convinced she would be in an outstanding position to know, with everything to lose by being wrong. Everything to lose by even stating the opinion.
The book was written in 2005. So
Is that right?
So it's been just going on forever.
Yeah, the breast cancer one was before, I guess, or the breast implants. She's a powerful thinker. What am I seeing? 4.7 there on the stars? 4.4? What is that? I need my glasses.
4.6.
4.6.
Yeah. I bet you the one is my book came damaged.
Sevi, we're taking off at 10 o'clock. I'll be there about noon.
Oh, cool. That sounds like
Brett being good?
Yeah, awesome. Good. Awesome. I took the boys out for suit. I took the boys and Riley and Rhett all rolled yesterday at Jiu-Jitsu over on 17th Street. And then afterwards, I tried to sneak up to Aida and be like, hey, I'm taking Rhett to sushi if Riley wants to come. And she said, no, Schnaz is making dinner for Riley. And then I'm like, okay. And so then I go back to my car, and then fucking Riley comes running up to the car. I'm like, hey, you coming with us? She goes, yeah. I'm like, how did you know? She's like, when you talked to Aida, I rolled down my window and heard you whisper to her. Because I didn't want to ask her in front of Riley and fuck Aida's shit up.
Yeah.
But I was stoked. So I took all the kids out to sushi, Rhett, Riley, the boys, the 2 Japanese girls. We all went to sushi. It was cool.
I appreciate you helping out.
Dude, it's my pleasure. The boys are having a blast. Yesterday, I saw them just in the backyard eating passion fruit for fucking 2 hours. They built a pile. They were just ripping passion fruit open and eating it for 2 hours. It was awesome.
Super cool.
And I think Rhett went swimming yesterday with Avi too. They took swimming lessons, so they had a great day.
Good.
Not that Rhett needs them. I mean, Rhett's a fucking fish.
But he's going to be taking swimming lessons here.
Like my kids are just taking like basics.
Yeah, I'm going to bring a swim coach over and water polo coach and make them do.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, are you doing what are you doing on the 5th? Will you go to a party, someone's house, or will you have a party at your house
on November 5th?
Yeah, the night of the election.
Yeah, we're going to be here, and I was going to go with my architect and some other like-minded people in the neighborhood.
To someone's house?
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe it's the kind of night I want to be alone. She really got destroyed on the 60 Minutes interview. They did. Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me.
And people were saying, people in the on the internet are saying that CBS even edited it to try to make her look better. But man, she got ass pounded. She made such a fool of herself. The guy kept pressing. He's like, "Hey, do you regret opening the border?" And she's like, "It's always been a problem." He goes, "I'm aware of that, but it got 4 times as worse on day 1 when you and Biden took office. Do you feel bad?"
He was a great interviewer.
Yeah, he was great.
He did a great job.
Yeah, and I
guess
don't
know that I'd seen him before.
I've never seen him before. And I get they were saying he's just a full-blown libtard, but he fucking hit one out of the park. Even the chick on The View fucking the libtard on The View fucking fired a hardball question at her and she fucked that up. They're like, "Hey, is there anything that Biden's done that you would have done differently?" She's like, "I can't think of anything."
No one asked ever William F. Buckley a question that oh, that's going to be a hard one. That's below the belt, or now you got him.
Right.
And what happens with characters like William F. Buckley, Jordan Peterson, Thomas Sowell, on the health front, the Ufi Ravenskovs, the way those people are dealt with is by being ignored. Victor Davis Hanson.
Stay away from the people who tell the truth.
You just, I'm not going to mess with that one.
When people, especially people like you, come to their own conclusions with their own thinking, they're almost impossible to play gotcha with because they're not defending a position that was given to them. They have a position that they came to with their own thinking. So you can ask them all the questions they want, and they can walk you through step by step how they got to that.
There is nothing in the province of rational thought where I have any fear of learning that my position is bankrupt. If you tell me that someone's going to tell you how David Stove was wrong about Karl Popper, I want to sit down with that person. I would get on a plane and go see them.
Right.
I'd love to hear that argument. Our fitness movement was born that way. I stood up in front of the world and said everything coming out of the university is complete horse shit, at least in terms of strength and conditioning. And what did it do? It got me where we took strength and conditioning coaches from University of Kansas or Kansas State one, Notre Dame, UCLA, Ohio State, took their top staff, University of Nebraska, and made affiliates of them in level 1 trainers. On the seminar team. Those exact schools. I don't know if Ruttman was ever on the seminar team, but I know Josh and we got Stefan,
Joe.
We took those people from the university. So I'd never put that together until I was trying to figure out why it was that Gatorade, ESPN, and the NCAA were partnering together to say that CrossFit did what happened to Kevin Olgar on the night before the games.
Right.
It was it was so profoundly dishonest.
Jake Chapman, he had a good line in here. What do I have to say for Greg to come see me? You live on the Isle of Man?
Hey, we're doing a Europe thing this spring. I'll get together with you, Jake.
Europe.
We might even take the King Air over there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Let me play this for you too. Patrick Bet David.
Tweet yesterday, Adam, which was sick. Rob, can you pull up this tweet from Adam yesterday? This is Adam's tweet yesterday. So this is from Rabbit Hole. It says, professors are Democrats, therefore experts are Democrats too. Watch the percentage. Go all the way to the bottom so we can see the difference between red and... So percentage of Democrat professors in the field surveyed 5,116 people versus Republicans. Go all the way to the top. Let's start. In the communication, 100% of professors you go to in communication are Democrats.
Weird.
100% of professors in anthropology majority are Democrats. Look at religion, which is the scary 99%.
Where you would think conservatives and tradition?
99% of Democrats. What do you think they're saying about Christianity? So that means when you send your kids off to college, there's a 95% chance they're going to come out as Democrats. You put a tweet yesterday, Adam, which was
crazy, right?
When my kids are 18 years old and ready to do their own thing, they will have an education that you could not purchase at any university anywhere in the world. And I'll go all the way up to PhD level. My kids are going to be able to do upper division mathematics, and they're going to be able to read anything and write forcefully about it with perfect usage and even a modicum of rhetorical flourish. I can promise you that my kids at 18 years old will be the smartest people that almost everyone has ever met. What I've learned is that at 2 hours a day, I can double the K-6 national pace. I got a 9-year-old that can do algebra. What do you think he's going to be doing in the 12th grade? I'll tell you what it'll be. It'll be engineering, mathematics, probability theory, stochastics. We'll get there.
Did Greg homeschools older kids as well?
No. It took the failure of public education and the complete destruction of public education through the pandemic, and then coupled with the school shootings. My kid's last day of school, I was so nervous. I made the decision on the very last day of school, and what happened was the Uvalde shooting. And so the Uvalde shooting happened like on Wednesday or something, and my kid's last day of school was Friday, and I was traveling, and I was so worried for them because I have seen now repeatedly where if someone goes into a school and starts massacring students, a good chunk of the first responders will hide behind cars for their safety while the slaughter continues.
That's
and like, you know, you add that on top of not learning anything. I mean, my kids were going to school. Their school day was 9 hours long, and then we got home. We had to quick get out of the uniform, get a snack, and because the tutor's coming over because you're not learning enough in 9 hours a day. And then after that, after the tutor leaves, you got to force down a dinner, and it's time to hurry up to jiu-jitsu because there's no physical education. And these are good schools, top-notch A+ schools.
Where have you been hiding, brother?
Oh, I hear something. I hear some audio.
Hey, Willie.
Are you in jail?
I don't know how that happened.
Did you homeschool your wife?
Yes.
Okay. Sevon, can you ask Greg to share the homeschool curriculum he spoke about, please?
Yeah. Curriculum. I've purchased just about everything that's out there and looked through it, and will use any kind of published resource that tickles my fancy. But the truth of the matter is that the plan was set in math and language instruction forever ago. I mean, the trivium and the quadrivium are largely on the right purpose. For 4,000 years, we knew how to educate kids, and in the past 100, it's all been lost, it seems. And so I can tell you a list of skills we're going to get. And I mentioned that in the math, and the path towards that is really one foot in front of the other.
I want to give you something a little more concrete that Greg bought me. I think this is it.
Yes.
Is it the Critical Thinking Detective book?
Well, there's that whole series there's a whole publisher that publishes educational material that's all skill based and not trivia.
The Critical Thinking Company.
Yes.
And there's this fucking stack of books like this that walks your kids through learning algebra, and my kids have already started it also, and they can't even believe it. And I want to tell you what's crazy. My kids have such crazy high self-esteem, and this even took it to like a whole nother fucking level, because Greg's kid was like, I'm doing algebra and telling my kids. And so Haley cracked the books open that Greg got us. And it's like, now they're like, I do algebra.
The Balanced Math series by the Critical Thinking Company.
Yeah.
And the author of that has done equally impressive work in the diagramming sentences and in the phonics. Brilliant work in phonics. Brilliant work in math education.
The Critical Thinking Company. I wish I could find the book right now.
I purchased everything they've published.
And you got me a stack that's like this. It's like $1,300 worth of workbooks. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think I got you everything they published.
And my kids fucking, it's so easy for Haley to teach it to them. There's nothing. The baby steps are nuts, and it's for them to comprehend. It doesn't have like the X's and Y's and P's and Q's to confuse them.
That's scary. As soon as you introduce X, everyone kind of their asshole puckers.
Right.
And there's just no need for it. If I use a star, a circle, and a triangle instead, it's crazy what you can do with that. It's just a brilliant approach.
Every time you said use P and Q, my butthole still puckers.
I'm playing with the material for my What is Science seminar, and my goal is to ultimately what I think I can demonstrate is that I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. It's possible. The physics are correct, but I think that we could make the replication crisis impossible with an amendment to 4th through 9th grade learning. That if I
4
could,
years old through 9th grade, so fourth
grade to 9th grade.
Oh.
That if I could control curriculum of grade 4 through 9, I wouldn't have people doing anything other than laughing when Fauci says, if you don't believe in me, you don't believe in science. Or if you don't believe me, you don't believe in science. We've got a problem in this country that I've got a giant population of scientists that cannot tell you what science is. It's hard to believe, but it's true.
I bet you it's really high, that number.
It's really high. I used to get to go around and watch my dad with the incoming group of new PhD hires at Hughes. Most of these kids were known to the company for years, and they had funded and supported their bachelor's, master's, and doctoral program. A lot of them were working as students part-time at Hughes, and then in their PhD, they all gathered in an auditorium. And these were PhDs in electrical engineering, mathematics, applied physics, sometimes chemistry, from top schools. This is Caltech, Stanford, MIT. And he would ask them, so what's science? And write it up on a board and play this game until no one wanted to offer anything else. And then he'd throw up astronomy and astrology on the board, and he goes, okay, I'm going to be the astrologer now. I'm going to tell you that how it is that astrology matches all your definitions. And so they didn't, with a PhD in electrical engineering, they didn't have enough knowledge of science to tell you that the demarcation of science and non-science is the predictive strength of science's models. That is the demarcation. And it's something that I can teach children. It's something that children ought to be taught. And everyone needs to learn what science is, especially people that aren't going to become scientists, and especially those that are. They're both in dire need of it. Everyone who's not going to be a scientist is in dire need of an education as to what science is or isn't in the most general sense, in the philosophical sense, in the epistemic sense.
What does that mean in the epistemic sense?
Epistemology is the theory of knowledge within the study of philosophy, and how it is that science comes to know things, why we would trust it, where validation comes from, where its objectivity comes from. It needs to be taught to children. It needs to be taught to Anthony Fauci.
And the benefits?
Not being a victim of someone's scam or fraud, especially from the public health, especially from the government space. Yeah, just that straightforward. You can come to your own conclusions about climate and about public health and vaccines in the same manner that I did, and all of those mesperts that came and spoke at CrossFit Health. We all had the exact same view on COVID without talking about it. When we finally talked about it, yeah, Zoe's thinking what I'm thinking, what Tim Noakes is thinking, what Malcolm Kendrick was thinking. And why is that? How does it happen?
People who know what science, the definition of science, or know what science is, see some of these things out there put out by the government or by the media that they're claiming to be science, and it's like, wait a second, that's not science. They obviously, that's not a bear, that's a rabbit.
You kind of red pill on subjects one at a time. Like, I could make a list of things that my friend RFK Jr., and I call him a friend. It's not quite honest, but we do talk, and I am immensely fond of him. So put whatever you want on that. But I can give you a list of things that he believes that he won't in 5 years.
Oh, because you know the path he's down.
That's right. We watched Elon grow up intellectually. We're watching RFK Jr. grow up intellectually. Donald Trump and Kamala have no choice, no chance at that. No one's ever going to accuse them of maturing in their thinking.
But would you say that Donald Trump has a cohort around him that has a cleaner set of glasses on?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
His cozying up to the Federalist Society and the judge appointment, I think, was powerful and positive. We have such a profound need for Mike Pompeo right now.
He was the Secretary of Defense
of state. If you ever get a chance to listen to him, do so. He was explaining the factionalism in the Middle East and the Arab states and tribes, and that they have this 1,000-year-old hatred for one another. And the only thing they can agree on is that they hate us more than each other.
Mm.
And so we get over there in the middle of that shit and just can't make anything happen.
Sammy, Greg is right. I studied physics to postgrad in the United Kingdom, and no one ever told us what science was, what our axioms were, what the limits and boundaries were.
Science it's essential to science education to know what science isn't. And my father didn't think there was another space like that quite. I don't know. I mean, it would be a weird thing to say of music. The most important thing you learn studying music is learn what isn't music, But it is the case in science. I'm excited about this cert. I wish I could impart I wish I were smarter and it didn't take 2 days to impart what I need to impart. But I do believe that anyone that can divide fractions or that can work with fractions or division with just modest arithmetic skills, I think I can make a difference for you that you could build on the rest of your life, give you a foundation, kind of like the L1 was. What happens in a weekend? Well, what happens on a weekend is you get enough information that over the next 3 to 5 years, you can make yourself a world-class trainer through the application of those concepts and principles and seeing what the adaptation is. The final frontier of that was the health front. You don't know that you have a cure for diabetes a year into the game or 2. You can't help but know it by year 10. And the spark for that, it was the L1. And I think I can do that. I'm convinced I can do that on the science front too. Part of what has to be done is a thorough dismantling of the academic variant of science, and that's the philosophy of science as currently embraced, taught, promoted, and that's the Popper-Kuhn, Feyerabend, and Lakatos variant, and it's deductivist, and I don't want to step too far into that. But we're going to do it at the CERT, at the seminar.
Bill Grunler was in the chat. He said, "I can't wait to come to Arizona, Greg."
I'd love to have you here, Billy. And in fact, as we're rolling through, Bill, I'm going to be in Montecito for a few days. If you want to come over and we could test the what was the place on the corner with the world's best French dip?
Oh yeah, what was that place? I'll never remember the name of that place.
Yeah, me neither.
Where are you stay? Do you stay in Airbnbs when you do that?
Yeah. Though, Sebi, I'd go back to the Rosewood. Those little. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
I got a secret. I liked it better than the Biltmore. First off, they're on the ocean side of the highway. That's huge.
Bill says that would be amazing. I thought I found the
Billy, I'll be there 17 through 20 of this month in Montecito.
I found the decor of the Biltmore. It's awesome. Like the little pathways and the pools and all the overgrown shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Rosewood was absolutely amazing.
They had that too, where the little campfires were between the cottages.
Yeah.
With the little Adirondack chairs sitting there.
And it was cool that the train went right through the hotel, and they had like a 24-hour guard at the track. That shit was pretty charming.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, is Rhett doing the tournaments on Saturday?
Yeah, Rhett and Riley, and I'm taking them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, what time do you want to go together?
I got a schedule conflict because there's this big event that I'm promoting at one of the guys' gyms on the East Coast that's happening on Saturday, and I'm going to try to do both. I do not know how I'm going to do it, but for sure Haley's taking them.
Okay.
And I think the twins are going to have a stunning showing there. I hate to put pressure on them to win, but the last tournament they went to, they both entered the same bracket in gi and no gi. They're terrors. So I do really want to go.
I told the kids I'm putting them in a tournament this weekend, and Rhett was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he'll cry and not want to compete. And Riley got quiet and gritted her teeth a little and kind of made a little bit of a shitty face.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what she's doing? She's funneling rage toward her. She goes into those things like her life depends on it, win or lose. And she's typically funny. Rhett gets scared and doesn't want to compete because he's so afraid of losing. Riley doesn't care that much, win or lose, but she does, if given a chance, want to fight. And she ends up, they don't have girls in her division, and so she has to fight heavier kids or heavier, older, better belts. But that gives her the gold medal in her division. So she's 3 times gone to tournaments and lost every match, but by points. One was a tap out, but she's a 10-year-old problem for a 12-year-old with much better talent. And she gets the defeat, but she goes home with the gold medal. And that's just been the best experience.
Rhett's been looking savage in training.
My girls can kick.
You mean like kick, like literally kick?
Yeah. Riley could put her instep across the bridge of your nose without much trouble, and no one does well under that. You know, you don't get kicked in the nose and then beat someone's ass. It's very unlikely.
Hey, I want to address something that's going on in the comments right now. Not liking someone not finding value in someone because they're a narcissist is like not finding the value in religion because you don't believe in God. So many of you think that somehow because there's no such, you don't believe in God, that somehow religion's bad. That's fucking insanity. That's just shitty thinking.
Did you see that thing I sent to you and Emily? Maybe it was Jimmy and Emily, but I said that a people made wealthy and comfortable beyond historic or global standards get quickly to a point where they're not comfortable around the men who are willing to defend that lifestyle.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So if I make you wealthy enough and I make you safe enough outside of the norms for human experience, you'll quickly get to a point where just repeating myself, but you won't be comfortable in the company of the men that can preserve that for you. You know, all those professors, not the Democratic professors.
Yes. I'm with
Not
you.
1 in 1,000 of them could pick up a rifle and be of assistance in the defense of all we value.
Of their university where they pontificate.
Of everything they value, they would have it all taken from them. They would jump behind their wives if shot at. Promise it. Of this crowd, I expect nothing but cowardice. They don't live in the real world, and this is why the good Don from Oxford in 1914 was it Jason Alexander Smith? Is that the name? He wished upon his students that they'd never become professors or deans.
Oh, right.
Whatever you do, don't do this. Don't come back here.
Right.
And that the principal, if not the primary value in an education, was to know when a man was talking rot, and that would do you no good in the as a professor. And what's fascinating is you ask yourself the why of that, and that's because you teach rot. That's what you do.
Are you flying into your normal airport?
Yeah.
And what time do you land?
I got to get out of here and start rolling. We're bringing my mom out.
Oh, are
we
you?
have a 10 a.m. Takeoff departure out of Scottsdale.
Are we going to go straight to lunch? Maybe.
I would love that, but
Will you
with
text
mom and we got Robbie and Reason. No, I've got Robbie and Remington.
All right. Well, let me know. Maybe I can. Let's.
I could certainly duck away.
Okay, and I could also. Do you have a ride from the airport? I think I have to take Avi to a piano lesson, and that's it.
I don't think we have something set up, but I think Snaz and Michaela are around, and maybe the van. But we'll probably need some help. I'll have that discussion with Maggie. We'll hit you up.
Okay, maybe I could scoop you away, and we could have a business meeting.
I would love that.
All right. All right, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll bring. Is Davey around?
I'll call him. I talked to him yesterday very briefly.
I'd say Castro, but you'd get the wrong one.
What do you mean? Okay.
Sam, not Dave.
Oh.
Yeah, so tell Meg I'm gonna go hang out with Castro for a while.
Yeah, but I will invite Dave.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Dude. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Sorry about being late again.
Nope, not a big deal.
Okay, bud. Bye.
And just like that, another show down the hatchet. I want to show you guys something that I saw. Someone sent me this morning. Let me see if I can find it. It was an Instagram post that the hi. It was an Instagram post that the Morning Chalk Up put up. Say that again. No, not at all. It is this one. Today marks 2 months since Lazar died within hours of the tragic event. Fit Aid organized a GoFundMe, and the total money raised was $772,000. Then this guy says GoRuck sponsors of the event made a sizable donation. I don't think I have no idea what GoRuck donated. I'm not taking a shot at them, but they sold shirts. They sold shirts, and that's what this money is from shirts they sold. So this is saying that GoRuck donated this money would be saying like the same thing as saying GoFundMe. Why doesn't someone say GoFundMe donated the money? But anyway, it's not a knock on them, but it's just a little bit of a mischaracterization. There's just there's so much shitty stuff in here, but there's one in here that's just absolutely crazy what someone says. It's this person says it here, this guy. This 47, let me see. I'm disappointed we haven't heard anything from corporate. Shut the fuck up. Okay, this one right here. Listen to this. This guy's name is 47 Stairs. I guarantee you this is, oh yeah, look, a major troll, one post. Okay, this right here is the problem with society. I mean, on top of all the morons who get the flu shot. Can you imagine getting the flu shot for your fucking kids? They have a chance to be inoculated on their own, and you fucking double down and double infect them? Nuts. Complete. Anyway, do not inject your kids with drugs. Okay. This guy writes, I think there's no escaping the taint that now smears all over what is known as CrossFit. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you talking about Don Fall's leadership? What are you talking about? There's no distancing oneself from letting someone die. There's entire companies out there. Coca-Cola, Keebler. All they do is fucking sell shit that kills kids. That's all they do, and they're flourishing. What is this guy talking about? Entire fucking companies. Their whole premise is to poison people. There's no just listen. Imagine this. All CrossFit does in its mission is a cure for the world's most vexing problem, and someone died in the process. One person, and now you're concerned. You want to take down the whole company because one person died, even though the mission is to cure the world's most vexing problem. It's not like he finished the event, wandered off, and suffered a heart attack like you read about happening at Iron Man. What is this guy talking about? People die in fucking motorcycle racing, car racing, bike racing. We just had that fucking girl die in bike racing. Every single day, someone's dying in a fucking sport. He was visible from the shore with close proximity. So the whole thing is built on this crazy fucking premise. Let me tell you the truth about Lazarus' death.
Well, that's sad.
It is sad. Let me tell you the truth about Lazarus' death. It only adds to the brand value that this is the world's fucking hardest fitness program. That's it. And it culls the herd of all the fucking pussies and bad thinkers like this. That's all it does. It's just a pruning. Think of it as it's just a boarding of the morons. Even that guy who jumped in the shore and started swimming out to save the guy was made to go back. Yeah, that says nothing about the sport. That talks about how great the people are. How many events are there where one of the spectators jumps in and tries to save someone? But no, you can't look at that positive aspect, can you? We have We have CrossFit that saved billions of hours of people's lives. And then we have all the other sports, which have, all the other products out there like Coca-Cola, which it's their mission to kill people. And yet someone died with this mission, and this guy wants to hang fucking CrossFit. I mean, we truly need to fucking cull the herd. Someone needs to create a new brand that everyone else can jump on and let CrossFit go. When the whole racist thing happened with Glassman, the whole community rallied and found someone to buy him out. Oh my God. The whole community did not rally. They could distance themselves from the racist and restore some integrity. I mean, this is just fucking nuts.
I have a question. How
What?
long have you been talking about this?
I just started. Greg's been on for the first 2 hours and 5 minutes.
So how much have you been on total?
Say that again. Oh, I want to see what kind of people like this. I want to see if they're pronoun people. Can I see private?
Oh, no, you don't.
Private.
You have to
Private, of course. Oh, here we go. God.
Hi, Dad. You got company.
We unfortunately, I guess it's everywhere.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
boy.
we just roll with morons. We have so many morons.
Heidi, we're out of trouble.
What? Hi. Is it warm in here?
Yeah, it's warm.
Does it smell like farts in here?
No, it smells nice.
It smells good.
Did you fart?
I haven't been farting this morning, but sometimes I get a little nervous because if I'm in here at night and I stank the place up.
Yeah, you do. You really have to do. You really gotta do. Yo, you just saved my life. He was talking about whatever lies, and now you're coming in here talking about him. Now it's getting funner. Is that a word? Funner? Fun?
Mas bueno.
Fun? I don't know what you said.
More fun.
More fun. Yeah. Has the podcast been growing?
Yeah.
Growing? Why?
Everything I do, everything
just
I touch flourishes. Everything I touch grows, gets better.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So if you touch us, we get better.
Yeah, that's why you guys are
you touch us
flourishing.
like every
That's
10 minutes. Like last night, you touched me.
I did. What did I do last night?
I felt like my butt got bigger when you touched me.
Oh Jesus!
I felt you like tucking me in when you're like going for a shower or something.
I did. I scratched both your backs last night. I scratched your back till you fell asleep. I scratched Joey's back till he fell asleep. Then I went to Avi's bed and I scratched his back till he fell asleep.
Wait, was Rhett in there? I wasn't asleep.
I didn't scratch your back till you fell asleep, but I scratched your back.
No, you didn't.
Are you kidding me?
No, you didn't. You squeezed me.
I scratched your back too.
Mm-hmm.
I went like this, up and down, up and down. And I did that thing on your spine where I do my fingers on your spine. Yeah, I did that on your spine last night. Where whatever those muscles are that are down your spine, I was pushing on them.
Nico's coming today.
Yeah, Nico comes at 9:30.
How did you know it was 9:30?
Because he told me yesterday.
MacGyver, it's so cool right now. Yeah.
Talking to the mic so people can hear you.
It's a little more violent than I thought. But
What show? What show are you watching?
MacGyver.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Batman. He has like all these cool gadgets. The thing that really saves his life is his Swiss Army knife. Yeah, without a Swiss Army knife, he's nothing.
Does he have the same Swiss Army knife in every show?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this. It's like it's
Hey, guys,
It's
I'm
like
watching.
it.
I started watching Dexter.
I don't know what that is. It's
I'm
like
not
this.
talking to you. I'm talking to the people listening to the show. Oh, that's his. Is it look just like that?
Yeah.
You see it? He has a red Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Just like that.
this.
Hmm.
There's everything on it. Wait, give it to me. Does it have a bottle opener? Yeah. That one doesn't have that much stuff. This one's not cool at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Bottle opener.
All right, guys.
And it's cool.
Time to parent.
No. You can stay in here.
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you want to? So 2 days ago, you were in striking class.
Yeah. No, yesterday.
No, 2 days ago, you were
Oh,
in
you're
striking
talking
class,
about
and a
that,
kid
yeah.
put you in a headlock and started rabbit punching you.
Yeah, I was going. He got mad at me. He
Okay,
was-
point the mic towards your mouth. What did you do yesterday? What did you? So yesterday, you told me when we went to jiu-jitsu, you're like, hey, I'm gonna go hard at that kid. So tell me, did you make that kid pay for that?
I didn't pay. I didn't make him pay all of it, but I made him pay some of it.
What do you mean? So tell me the whole story. Go back 2 days ago and tell me the story about how you were.
Okay, so I was smoking him.
No, okay, in striking, you were in
I
striking
was
class.
punching him light. I'm like this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like uppercut him in the stomach. I'm like this, boom. He
Mhm.
grabbed my head and started hammer fisting me like this, and then let go, and then hammer fist me with 2 hands, back in the head.
So you were doing some sparring rounds in striking class.
Yeah, but today, if he's there,
No, hold on a
he's
second.
gonna-
Let me tell the story. People up. So you were in striking class and you were
Mhm.
sparring with a kid.
Yeah,
and
but he was just like he
How old-
wasn't as good as me. I was just like
How old is he?
he's like 7, a little bit younger.
They kind of said he could beat me in burpees.
So the same.
Not true.
So he's the same age as you,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys were sparring, and he started rabbit punching you in the back of the head and hammer fisting you in the back of the head. Why'd you let him do that? How did he get you in that position?
I got an uppercut in his stomach, and
Mhm.
my head's like down here.
Mhm.
I made a huge mistake doing that.
One question: you should always look at your partner as you're punching them.
Yeah, that's why I said I made a huge mistake.
Okay, and then yesterday, you didn't have striking class, but you had jiu-jitsu class, and you sparred against him. How did that go?
Fine. I armbarred him 3 times at the end. That was my 3rd one at the end.
Yeah, I saw you hip throw.
I hit the first. I double legged him, picked him up, kind of slammed him, and then I really wanted to slam him though. Then I would have to pay.
I saw
the
you
same
double leg him, arm bar him. I saw you hip toss him and arm bar him, and I saw you catch his grab a leg and sweep his other leg and arm
Mhm.
bar him. So I saw 3 takedowns. How many times did he take you down?
Let's see. 0.
0. Okay. And now today,
He can't take me down once.
was he upset that you beat him up yesterday in
I'm like
jiu-jitsu?
this. I'm looking right at his eyes, even when they're like this. I look right at his eyes.
So
He didn't do anything.
okay, so today you have striking class with this boy.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. You think you're going to toss him up a little bit in striking now too?
He's gonna pay a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm already gonna pay him. I don't really have to pay him because McKenna said, now you know, go a little hard with new people. I'm like, okay. So I was punching him like this hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna do it a little harder, but a little bit technical too.
What about a push kick?
I think I'll do
Push
that.
kick. I don't think you should do a push kick with
I'll
Caius,
probably
Why?
because he'll grab your leg.
I'll probably
Nobody should
knock
do
the
a push
wind out.
kick with
I'll
me.
knock the breath out of him.
Nobody should do a push kick on me either. I'll grab their leg
And just toss him?
and just sweep them. That's what I always do. But if you don't move to the side, then you'll get like hurt.
Destroyed. He's a crazy kid. For a second, I thought his brother was nutsy. When he came in, I thought he was nutsy.
Hey,
And then
you
I
know
thought
how
his-
old Boss is?
9.
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
I thought he was like 7.
Well, me too. I'm like, but he looks older. He looks a little older than Caius. He looks like 8 to me.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna turn off. I don't want you guys to hear this. I'm gonna turn. It's fine. I'll turn off your mic. I'll turn off your.
Every time you say that, and you turn it on, it doesn't work.
I just turned. Now you can't hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but you can only hear me because I'm talking.
Smarter than girls, you got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Say that. Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works.
Imagine having a professor that breathes that hard. Okay, guys, we're going to get the flu shot today.
Why? Yay! Why? Let's start getting sick.
Have you guys ever had a shot?
No.
No, never.
Good thing I never. When we come on the podcast, do you think you're like, oh no, what?
No.
I have the boys coming on.
No, I don't think that. That's a fair question. If I don't want you guys on, I'll just tell you guys on. That's like the best.
No,
Hey,
like,
that's
even if I come on and you're like, what if they mess something up? What if they say something that they're not supposed to?
Oh yeah, I do think that sometimes. But you're so good. The fact that you even know that there's some shit you shouldn't say is like awesome. Hey,
I'm surprised I'm sore from that CrossFit class.
yeah, where are you sore? Are you more sore today than you were yesterday?
That's why I tapped out on those push-ups. It was like hurting my arm, like bad.
Don't be a pussy.
You don't be a pussy either. I did the last two though.
Do you think I'm a pussy, Ari?
Sometimes.
Tell me some situations where you see me act like a little pussy.
There's a lot of times.
Name one.
I'm trying to think of one.
Well, you can't say there's a lot just to bide time. Tell me one time I've been a pussy.
When you turtle on me.
When I turtle on you.
That's
Listen.
a big pussy move because you're 52 and he's 7. And you're turtling on a 7-year-old.
Listen.
And you're like
Okay.
I don't know, 45 years older.
Okay. All right. So when we're fighting and I turtle, you think that's a pussy move?
Yeah. What?
I'm probably not going to stop doing it. Sometimes I have to turtle. There's 2 or 3 circumstances. If you guys start getting too crazy, I feel like I have to turtle. Like if 2 or 3 of you are coming at me at the same time sometimes, and I start, or if Ari's got me in a rear naked choke, and then someone else is like doing something else to me. But also, sometimes I just get so angry. You know what I mean? Like I take a shot. You know when you get hurt and you get angry, like I get like kicked in the rib or kneed in the face. Yeah. So I just turtle to take a few deep breaths so I don't do anything crazy. Isn't it good to practice turtling?
No.
There's never a time to turtle?
No. Yeah, there is.
No, you're always on the attack. I don't see you turtle, Ari.
Sometimes there is. If you're comfortable, you can actually get like attacks from there. Like you can actually get in a winning position if you like work on turtle. Like if you double leg someone and you sprawl and they sprawl on you, you can go to the back from there. And it's like you have to be comfortable at things. And then if you are, then it's not a bad position for you.
What do you think Ari's strongest trait is in jiu-jitsu?
I get like submission.
Just his strongest I think his strongest trait is that he's always on the attack. He doesn't play defense. Even from his back, he attacks constantly.
I think Ari likes chokes and arm bars. So I think like that's
But what do you think
powerful
is
from him.
Yeah.
I just noticed something.
I was doing some weird stuff on Caius. I was like grabbing the gi, like. Oh yeah, when he tried to Sotogari Ari and he hip throw him.
I saw that. I saw
think
that. Yeah.
it was an Uchimata, but I looked over and Caius tried to Sotogari him, and Ari like did something weird and hip throw. Wait, can I have that knife? This is sorry knife. It has. Oh, look. It has a little needle. Some like the big ones. You know the big one that the big Swiss Army knife that you gave Ari?
Yeah.
It doesn't have everything. Yeah. It doesn't have a needle. This one has a needle.
Yeah, I like
And it doesn't have a toothpick and all that stuff.
Do you know I used the tweezers on my keychain the other day? You know that pocket knife I have on my keychain?
The red one or the blue one?
The red one, the one that has
on the van keys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other day when we were at the beach, you guys didn't see this, but when we stopped at the pizza place, I had stepped on something crazy and it went into my heel like a huge splinter. And I was so happy I had the tweezers, I pulled it out.
I did.
What?
Look, this one has a pen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I think this is Ari's. It has a toothpick too. Have you ever lost your wallet?
Yeah, all the time. But I live a perfect life, and I always find it. Only once in my entire life did I lose it. One time I left my
Wouldn't it be cool if they make a little like tiny transmitter, you put it in your wallet and it's connected to your phone?
They have it. They make those.
Yeah.
You know, twice I've left my wallet on airplanes and got them back. One time I thought someone just sent it to me. One time I left my
you know, that's like rare.
One time I left my wallet on a Delta flight and I'll never forget it. And like a month later it arrived in the mail.
Were you happy?
I was so happy.
Because all your like credit cards were in there?
I didn't really care about my credit cards. It was my driver's license. I didn't want to have to deal with getting a new driver's license. And I got it back. It was so cool. And then mom can find anything.
Yeah. Mom's like the master.
So anything I lose, I just call mom. I just, oh shit, I can't find it. She always says,
our mom?
Yeah, your mom.
And she's always like, check the bedroom, check your office, check whatever.
Yeah.
And it's there.
She can't help it but look. Like sometimes I feel bad when I tell her I lost something because she'll just start looking for it. She can't help it. She's like a hound dog.
She's the mama.
Yeah, she's the mom. Who do you love more, Ari, me or your mom?
You. I mean, you're better at helping me. Well, me with things. Mom takes care of us more. Yeah, it's true.
Who's nicer, me or mom? Who's nicer, me or mom?
Oh, my kids are falling asleep.
I'm nicer?
You get nice. You're starting to get a little nicer. Mom's getting nice, though.
You think I'm just getting old and I'm getting soft?
Yeah.
You think you guys
you're
are?
not old yet. I'll call you old when you're 67. Me too.
Okay.
No, when you're like 70 probably. So I'm going to call you old when you're 70. You have like good 18 years.
Okay. All right. I have to pee now. I'm getting off the air.
Really? Every time you pee, you get off the air?
Not every time. Sometimes I play a commercial and just take a break.
I like your commercials.
Thanks.
I hate your commercials. I hate the one where you go, the one that goes, you flush the toilet. That one. Ew.
You think you could even do this once?
Yeah, I can. Give me it. That's hard. Wow.
I bet you can't even do it with two hands.
What? How do you do that?
I bet you can't even do that with two hands. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. Let me see. Go like this. Hey, go like this. Try to do it like this. Look at it.
Give me it.
Put it like this.
Can I try that? Can I try that one?
I think this one's harder. Oh, you did it. Yeah, see if you can. I think that one's harder, Ari.
Oh, I can almost do it.
No, you're not even close. Not even close.
Is there an easier one?
I don't think so.
I did it. Here, I'll try this one. That one's hard.
There's some crazy hard. Feel this one. I can look at. I'm gonna squeeze this one as hard.
This one's hard.
Look at. I'm gonna squeeze this one as hard as I can. Look at this one.
No.
Dude. What number is this?
Wait, can I try?
It says it's a number 4.
Oh, I can do this.
I can't even move that. I can't even move that one.
How do you try this with one hand?
course I could do that. I'm fucking a beast. Look at this. Look with my eyes closed.
No, try that one. Let me see if I can do this too.
Oh, look, this one on the bottom. This one says pussy.
No, it doesn't. I did it.
Look at this one.
I did it.
Here, try this one. I can do this one. You did? You closed it? You touched the middle?
I can do this with 2.
You can?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, try this one.
Collar high.
Hold on. I got to connect the phone.
Who's it? Can I say hi?
They can hear you. Go talk in the mic. They can hear you. Call her hi.
Collar high. Collar high.
Good morning, boys.
Who's caller, by the way?
It's Hans.
Hans, what's up, dude?
From Star Wars?
Hey, man, what are you guys doing for Kill Taylor this week? You guys figured that out yet?
From Star Wars. He wants to know if it's Hans from Star Wars. Hey, did you get paid?
I did, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
Because I asked Sousa, I'm like, did Hans get paid? He goes, yeah, but Colton still hasn't been paid from last week. I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got me on, I think they got me on Monday.
Oh, awesome. I think, so here's the deal with Kill Taylor. We wanted to make it one of the workouts from the Crash Crucible, but the problem is we don't know. We're not sure. We're not sure if we're going to do it or not because it's just all scheduling conflict. But I think it would be one of the workouts. There's a workout there that I guess Taylor, I don't know which one it is, but Taylor says no one in the world can beat him.
Oh, nice.
So if we can figure out how to squeeze that in. Hey, what did Maria think about the show?
It's her new alter ego. She loves it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Hey, you're such a class act too. I appreciate the fact that you tried to protect her from us perverts, but you know what's gonna happen.
It's all for laughs. We all know what's going on. We're aware.
All right, good. Yeah, you get too many boys together and
yeah. All right, man. Well, enjoy your day, and hopefully you and the boys are doing something fun.
All right, keep fighting the good fight. Don't believe that dumb shit people say on Morning Chalk Up.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh my
God. All right,
bye. Was that the good part, Hans from Star Wars?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was solid.
Like, you know what I just got that from? Rhett's like, I was looking at a Lego and Rhett's like, oh look, there's Han from Star Wars. I was like, oh.
Feel this one. This one's crazy. What number is this?
5.
It's 3.5. I guess 4 is the hardest one. I guess that first one I gave you that was hard as shit was crazy.
Oh, this one? Hey, could you turn down our microphones? It hurts my ears when that dude talks.
Oh, turn down your the audio. Does it hurt when I talk?
A little bit. Not really.
God, my
Why do you do red? How come you just do like how come you did red on your walls? I think you should just did like gray and black.
So what happened was
they ran out of gray and black? Is that what happened?
Those all right, look over here. So what happened was, see how some of these are really thick and some of them are thin?
Yeah.
The thick ones don't stick to the wall very well. The adhesive is ass. So I had to start buying these thin ones. And when I bought the thin ones, they came in multiple colors. So I just thought I'd try red too. So that's why it looks like this.
I think it looks nice. I think it's fine. Wasn't it my idea to go around the light to cut it out?
I don't remember. Probably all the good ideas are yours.
Horrible ideas. I'm just kidding.
All right. Oh, shit. I keep wanting to take a picture, but there's stuff in the picture I don't want in the shot.
When you burp, do you burp and then blow like that?
Sometimes. I like to make sounds when I burp.
Why do you every time is it true every time Trump talks he goes like this? The point is that is that and that and that. Does he go like this? Yep. And like
like does he gesticulate like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a big gesticulator.
The point is blah blah. You do that a lot too. You're like, yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I just seen him on a rally. He's like, well, the measuring side. It's like so weird. I don't know why he does that, but a lot of people do that.
He needs to do CrossFit.
Does he do CrossFit?
No, he needs to.
I know it. Hiding.
I'm getting off. I'm getting off.
Okay.
Say bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.